Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Right, we're still doing the Fairy Miracles title page using the 40 colour Pablo set that I have. I've just noticed on top of the fairy house, we didn't do these little whatever they are on top of here. So I'm just going to colour them in with malachite green. There is a shadow on there, I don't know why. Hopefully that'll be okay. It should be. I probably would normally colour them in a different colour, but I can't be bothered with them this time. Right, let's go over to the other side, which is over there. So I've had my tea. My husband always cooks for me, and I think he's trying to turn me into an elephant or something. He came home from the from the shops, and he says, "Oh, I'll get on with tea." And I said, "What are we having?" And he brought through a pack of, well, it was basically a whole chicken, but it was like a spatchcock chicken. It was flattened, and it was sort of cut down the middle. So basically we had half a chicken each. With I only had one, but only ate half of it. A little, they're dauphinoise potatoes, but they're not like in a tray. They were like sort of little round things, and they were from the co-op. And they were quite nice, but I could only eat half of that, and some sweet corn, which I ate. My son came home and he was in a rather sort of bad mood today, and he soon cheered up when he finished off what I'd left, so that kept him happy. Now he's gone upstairs and I can carry on colouring, yay! Right, we didn't do the little windows in the house, so I thought we'd just give them, this is lemon yellow. My husband's going to start blowing his nose again in the other room. He always does that when I'm filming, and the camera really picks it up, so I'll try and speak a bit louder or a bit nearer, just so that you don't get that, because it's not nice, and I keep telling him don't do that when I'm filming, but he's a stubborn Yorkshire man and he carries on. I'm just going to go around the outside of the windows there with just a yellow, and it's only yellow, so I'm just going to go around the outside there, just to sort of darken them up a bit, just so some sort of difference between the two. There you go, that's a bit better. Right, now I think we're down to the butterflies. What colour shall we do them? I don't know, we've got yellow in the windows, plus we could have yellow and orange or something for them. Would maybe look good, so we'll grab our lemon yellow again and our yellow. And the orange, I've got, what have I got here? I've got orange, and the darker one is reddish orange. So I'll just put them over there and we'll see how we go with that. Right, we'll do this one first. It is a butterfly, but it's got like a stripy body, like a shouldn't really be like that, but there you go. Let's just put a base down of yellow first. down there. And then we can see, here we go. So yeah, it was a really, really nice tea, but I couldn't eat all that. Far too much for me. He just, because he's a big man and he thinks, you know, that I've got the same size appetite as him, and I just haven't. But my son's always happy to eat whatever I don't, so if he's not here and he comes back and I've left some, he's always happy to polish it off for me. So we're going to just do a little bit up there, like that, I think. Just a little bit. And then we'll do a little bit of this one. Like that. It's not like me to not know what colours I'm going to do something, because I don't look at something and think, oh, I'll do it that colour or that colour. It just sort of happens. I wing it or whatever. I just sort of think, oh yeah, that will look nice, or that might look nice, and I just try it, and either it works or it doesn't. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So, right, there's the I've frog in my throat again. There's the darkest colour, which we'll put at these top bits, and then hopefully that should get that blending into the others colours. So we'll do like that, so it's darker at the top. Yeah, it's been quite a, today's Monday, since I don't go to work because of my disability and my husband is my carer. Most days are the same for me. The only time I really do go out is if I've got a doctor's appointment or something, or I go and visit my dad. If you watched my A Gift from the Grave video, you'll know that I lost my mum 14 years ago this year. 2005, she suddenly found out she'd got cancer, and she was 3 weeks in the hospital, 3 weeks in a hospice, 3 weeks at home, and she died at home. So from finding out that she got it, she lived for 9 weeks. Which we'll do this, we'll just give this all a base as well. So yeah, so my dad has always never had a day off in his life. He was a self-employed sign writer, and so he had to work whether he was ill or not. He was out in all weathers, didn't matter whether he'd got a cold or not. You know, like I said, if I don't go to work, I don't get paid. So, being self-employed, he had to go to work, so that's what he did. So he worked quite a lot, and a lot of long hours, evenings and things. So he didn't really know much about anything. I'm going to put the darkest colour just under their wings. He didn't know how to pay bills or how to use a washing machine. Perhaps we won't use that one then. Or much at all really. So he was a bit stuck. Luckily, because my mum knew she was going to die, she had told him roughly some things how to work the washing machine, how to pay the bills, how to cook a few things. He didn't know much at all. I helped him out where I could. I used to, you know, just tell him things and just try and advise him on stuff. But now, I mean, it was only last year really, he suddenly said that he'd got a pain in his toe, and he'd been having his nails cut by a self-employed lady who lived on his road. And I said, well, you know, has she caused the pain? And he said, well, I don't know, I don't think so. Anyway, we usually go over once a week, you know, when I'm feeling okay to go. And we suddenly got a phone call from his neighbour, this was last year, saying that he was in hospital with gangrene. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So we went up to the hospital, and his toe was completely black, but they weren't sure if they were going to cut it off or not. So that was a bit like, oh my goodness. So they didn't cut it off in the end. They said, well, we'll just let it drop off. We think that would be better. So so they left it, and that was that. Anyway, they put a, because they said it was caused by thinning of his arteries and veins and that, because he smoked all his life, and that was what had caused it. And they put a stent in and said that was fine. They gave him an X-ray. And they didn't just x-ray his foot, they x-rayed his whole body. He didn't know why. Right, we'll do exactly the same on the other side. So let me just bring you over here to this other one. You can just see that. So he had the x-ray, and he came home, and they put him on really, really strong antibiotics. I think in the old days they used to have it have it cut off because it was spread. But apparently it doesn't spread. So we were told anyway. They said that it doesn't spread and the antibiotics should kill it, which it did. Anyway, he went home, and the toe that was black suddenly started showing pink, and now you wouldn't know he had gangrene in that toe. It's literally pink as all the others. You literally wouldn't know. But he hated being in hospital, and I think because he'd been in so much pain before he went into hospital, and so he wasn't sleeping very well at all. He'd had a lot of sleep deprivation. And sleep deprivation, if you don't know, can make you very, very ill. What it does is it messes with your brain, and you can't think straight. And he was thinking all these things, and he was losing his way in the middle of the night, going to the toilet, and couldn't find his bed in the middle of the night. And he was saying all these things about these nurses, and he hated it. Anyway, we went up to visit one day, and he'd got this paperwork on the bed, and I didn't pay much attention to it to begin with, and then I noticed what it said, and it said cancer. And I said, what's this, Dad? Oh yeah, he says, they gave me a scan, and they reckon I've got kidney cancer. So I'm like, okay, well, what are they going to do about that then? Well, I don't know, he says, I suppose I'll have to wait and hear from them. So anyway, he went to see doctors, and they said, well, you can survive with one kidney. We're going to have to take, the one out. And he didn't want to have it done. And I said, you've got to have it done, Dad, because, you're going to die if you don't. So he ended up having it done, but telling me that, he was only having it done because of me. If it weren't for me, he wouldn't be having it done at all, because my mum's gone, he really, doesn't really care whether he lives or dies, to be honest. So that was a bit sort of, oh my goodness. And seems that he'd never been ill a day in his life, never took a day off work, and then all of a sudden, he's suddenly, faced with all this sort of thing, which he's just not used to. And so yeah, but now and then he's got a dog, which is very protective of him. And he went out a few years ago now. He went out and one night to walk the dog, and he saw somebody he knew, and they'd got this, but there was somebody else there who he didn't know, and they'd got this big Alsatian dog. Well, his dog got rather protective over him, and he thought he was standing on a wet road, and his dog sort of charged towards this other dog, and my dad had hold of the lead, and he wasn't standing on a wet road, he was standing on black ice. And over he went, obviously. So he seemed okay to begin with, but now for the last few years he's had a lot of problems with his back, and it seemed to be getting better. But now he doesn't walk so well now. I noticed since my mum's been gone, he has, I know I've gone over the lines and I hate doing that. He has, since my mum went, he has aged, a hell of a lot. Just sort of overnight, really. Since she's been gone, suddenly he looked old. And he really doesn't care if he lives or dies. But it's so sad, that he doesn't care if he's here or not. He's only, has the operations and that because of me, which is nice to hear. But obviously now they want to keep an eye on him and make sure that it's not come back anywhere else or spread before they could take it out. So yeah, so he's, but he's saying, if anything else, if they say I've got it anywhere else, I'm not having anything else done. I'm not going into hospital anymore. I hate it. So we're going to have to wait and see on that one, and just see what the results come back of the next scan he's got. But I think that's all I can do, really. But I mean, we visit him, and obviously I can't go when I'm having a bad day, which obviously he understands that. He doesn't expect me to go when I'm bad. But oh, sorry, this is Scarlet. So yeah, we go around there and just keep him company, really. I mean, he walks his dog several times a day. He's bought himself an electric scooter because he can't walk very far now like he used to. I mean, he used to walk for miles and miles, and I never did know how he did it. As he'll be 80 this year, and so yeah, but he's gone very strange just lately. It's very sad, when your parents get old and things aren't the same. And you see, it's really strange. I don't know how everybody else is, but you see your parents and to you they're just your parents. I'll just do this side, a little heart. They're just my he's just my dad, like he's always been, do you know what I mean? And I don't see him as sort of, I don't think of him as being like nearly 80. He's just my dad, the same as he's always been. But it's really weird, and it's horrible when you sort of see them suddenly getting older. It's just not nice, and you think, oh, everybody's got to go through that, and then I had a letter that did upset me quite a bit. My dad says, oh, it don't matter, but it does matter. When my mum died, she was buried in the cemetery, which is near my dad's house. And when she died, she was my best friend. My mum, my best friend. We argued a lot. Basically, she didn't agree with me spending money on myself. There was lots of things. I'm an untidy person. I'm a Leo. I'm not messy, do you know what I mean? But I don't mind if there's a few things out of place, where she was a Virgo and she had to have everything in place, and if I'd left things out, she'd moan and then we'd argue about it, even though it was my house. But they're your parents, and and you respect them. Right, we're just going to do this jam pot now. I'm hoping I can get to it without being too shadowy for you guys. That's going to be really shadowy, isn't it? Let me move the book. So, yeah, nearly there. I don't want it to be too much of a shadow. I don't know why that's so shadowed. Let me see if I can move the light. That might help. Is that better? A little bit, isn't it? That's a little better. Hang on, let me move it. Let's see if I move it this way. It's got to be a bit. No? Yes? No? Oh, we'll get there in a minute. That's better, isn't it? Yeah, that's better. Right, so, yeah, but she was my best friend. I think we're going to do that red. She was my best friend, even though we did, had a lot of disagreements about things. But it doesn't matter. People disagree, and it it doesn't mean that you have to fall out or anything like that. Well, I don't think so anyway. I don't see why you have to fall out just because you have differences. Everybody is different. Right, I'm going to go in with vermilion on this. To me, everybody is different, and everybody has different ways and thoughts and things that bother them and things that don't bother them. I've just got to keep an eye on the time. So yeah, I mean, I don't sort of, things don't bother me, but they used to really bother her. But when she went, I mean, I lost my best friend. When I got ill, I lost a lot of my friends because they used to go out and I couldn't join them anymore, and gradually you lose contact. My mum was the sort of person I went to. She was the one I could talk to about anything and everything. So it was really hard. It was really hard on me. Yeah, I mean, I can imagine my dad said, it's hard for me, but it was hard for him because he said, you go home and you've got your family. He said, I go home and there's nobody but the dog. And yeah, I can understand that, and it's not easy. It's not easy, when your parents get old, and you never see them as old. I don't see my dad as old. I see him struggling now, and I think, well, you know, I just think of what he used to be, and it's like, it's so sad. It really is so sad. Right, let's go in with, let's have a darker one. We'll have, what's this one? I can't read it. Carmine. Yeah, so it's always sad, and you never sort of think it's going to happen to your parents, but of course it does. Happens to everybody's parents. It's like I keep saying to Zach, you know, one day I'm not going to be here, you know, for you to kick off at and worries the world, you know, and things don't go right, and I said, you've got to learn, you know, to sort these things out yourself, and you know, you've got to learn, you've got to grow up, and you've got to learn these things, and learn that as an adult you don't do these things. But because in his head he's still 16, and you know, that's how he acts, and life is one big party, and life is for having fun, and sort of, no, it's not. You know, you have responsibilities as an adult, and we all do, you know, but there you go. So yeah, that's what I do on most Saturdays, unless I'm feeling ill or we didn't go because of my husband's foot the first week. He wasn't supposed to walk on it or drive much, so we don't live near my dad. We live in the middle of nowhere. He lives just on the outskirts of the city centre, probably about 4 miles away from it, I would say. So not too far away from the centre, and we live sort of 20 miles away from him, probably. So obviously we don't go if the weather's, you know, it's snow and ice and the roads are bad, we don't go. If one of us is ill, you know, which I am a lot, then we don't go. But if I can make it up to him and go on a day in the week, but like he says, he said this week, he said, you don't notice it when you're younger. He said, because I never got ill when I was young. I said, no, you didn't. And he said, but it's not the same for everybody. And I said, well, what's the same? What do you mean? And he said, well, everybody says it. He says, as soon as you get old, he says, all your life consists of is hospital appointments for this and doctors for that. He said, I told the doctor, he said, I might as well bring me bed up here. He said, because I'm up here every blinking day, just about, for something or other. And he said, it don't happen when you're younger though. He said, but when you're older, he said, and everyone I've spoken to all says the same thing. You know, that when you get older, that's all, you know, life consists of. Oh, well, I'm afraid that's what happens, Dad, you know. So, yeah, that's life, I'm afraid. I'm going to go in with the scarlet, because we've used the red. What did we use the red for? Oh, the ladybird and the little hearts on the butterflies. And I'm probably going to do the same for that little heart in the centre here. I'm going to go over the little, some of the little things here. Some of them I'll leave white and some I'll go over, because I can go over with a darker pencil. But it's true, you know. And I said to him, well, you know, it's the same for me, Dad, and I'm not even old yet, you know. What's it going to be like by the time I get old? You know, me and my husband, it's like, you know, an appointment at the doctor's or the hospital or something, usually every week. So I said to him, you know, it's the same for us, and we're not even old yet. So, oh well, that's what happens. So that's life. I suppose, you know, some of us go, oh, what are you doing under there, dog? As usual, she's under the table. Don't know what she's doing. I think she's just sniffing. Don't know what she's sniffing. Got Dylan in the basket next to me, sound asleep. Good job Lily's not in here, because if Lily was in the basket asleep, you'd hear her, because she snores something rotten. Really snores really loud for a little cat. Well, she's not a little cat. She's not a big cat, but she's certainly not little anymore. But she's got a little dainty face. The vet says she's overweight, but I don't think she's overweight by much. She looks like a normal moggy to me. She doesn't look particularly overweight. Dylan's just all fur. I mean, when you sort of see him without any fur, and see how thin he is, and he is literally just all fur. He's so furry. He's got like a double coat on him, and but he's a baby, and he's just so gentle and so sweet. And my dad's dog, he's funny. He's a Romanian rescue as well, the same as mine, and he's a different breed to mine. My dog's a bit. I said to him on Saturday. I said he was telling me about how intelligent his dog is, and his dog has got used to the electric buggy thing that he's got, and he has learned, you know, that he's not going to run him over or anything on it, and you know, to go on the lead next to him, and when he feels it getting tight, he knows he's got to stop and wait for him, and then my dad goes a bit faster on it. And I know my dog would absolutely freak. She would think I was trying to run her over or something on it. I could never, I don't think, walk her up at the side of a scooter, because she would just think I was trying to run her over. She doesn't learn very well. Like, his dog's gorgeous. I mean, when he got him, he didn't know how to play or anything, but he's an absolute gorgeous dog. He really is. He's not particularly very, you know, gorgeous to look at, but he's got such a gorgeous personality, and he just picked up these games. And my husband and my dad, they spend forever just throwing a ball down the hallway for him, and he runs down there, but he never wants to give it to you back again. So he stands there looking at you with the ball in his mouth, as if to say, "Come on, do something." And you're like, "But you've got the ball," and he never wants to give it back to you at all. So it's quite funny. But then eventually he drops it. But he's quite an intelligent dog. He really is, compared to mine. Mine's a bit dumb, I think, because she doesn't play. She's never learned. We've tried to, you know, get her to know what toys are and play, but no, she will play, but her sort of playing is rolling around on her back, making noises that you would think her name was Chewbacca from Star Wars. You really would. She literally sounds like Chewbacca, and she's sort of making these really weird noises and rolling around on her back, and you have to rub her tummy, and she thinks it's hilarious. And her idea of playing is, if she's in that sort of mood, she'll make the silly noises, and if you sort of look down and you say, what's up with you? And then she'll put her head down and stick her bum up in the air, and she wants you to, like, you know, rub her bum sort of thing. And it's like, what's that bum doing in the air for? And that's her idea of playing. But bless her. She is quite a sort of gentle little soul. Right, and now I'm not sure how to colour glass. I've not done that before, but we are going to do it blue. I've got the, what is that called? Blush Pale. Or is that bluish pale? I can't see. blue, blush pale. I don't know, but it's pale blue anyway. I think my eyes are going. Sure that says blush pale. There might be an eye in the middle there. I can't see it. Never mind. I'm sure you'll know what I'm talking about if you've got these pencils. But if you haven't, just a very pale blue will do. So I'm not really sure, but I don't mind. We can sort it out anyway. What's the time? Ooh, 35 minutes. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this one here because I don't want it to split into 2 files. And when we come back, we'll finish that up and we'll probably just do a quick pastel sort of background on it. So we'll end here. I hope you enjoyed this session. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thanks guys, bye.